Welcome to the Big 12 Tournament Championship game presented by the Collegiate Conference Series. I'm back with co-host Dronis for probably the last time this season before the the CCS Championships kick off, as you will not be with me for the rest of the night, it looks like, as Cincinnati, though, ready to take the field with Iowa State. Dronis, thoughts going into this series?
I mean, this is another fun one to see. I mean, the Big 12, it's argued that it's the best conference in CCS. And I mean, there's just so much depth in this conference. There's so many great teams who are always competing. I mean, you got Iowa State, you got Cincy, of course. You also have Arizona, you have Houston, you have Arizona State, you have UCF, West Virginia, who made leaps. Utah always has to be mentioned as an upset potential. But these two teams, it's really interesting to see their journey. Obviously, Iowa State, I mean, they've really been picking things up as of late, and they did drop to Cincy in the regular season, but this is sure to be a really exciting matchup.
I think it is too. We're under delay. Players already got scared of the field, though. I don't want to waste any more time as we're 12 minutes delayed, and Iowa State, Cincinnati are ready to kick things off. Jordan, take it away. Game number one.
Yeah, I mean, Iowa State, I think the biggest thing here is they're going to back-to-back Big 12 conference tournament championships. They were here last season. They fell in Game 7 to Colorado. Yeah, Game 7 overtime to Colorado. Could not win it. And then, of course, got round one in the tournament by the 14th seed of Texas. They're, of course, looking for a much different output this season. They want a different result. They don't want to be known for that.
Not at all. Again, 3 seed last season, knocked off by 14 seeded Texas, the biggest upset in the tournament's history so far in CCS. And now you come in tonight with a second chance to be crowned a Big 12 champs against a very talented Cincinnati roster that has had a lot of success this season, only dropping to Arizona and Arizona State both in Game 5. So we'll see if they can overcome a great season tonight. But again, Iowa State, I think with a win, are a lock for a 2 seed.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, we've all obviously talked about seeding all week long, and all these teams making their conference tournament championships, what that means for their seeding, what teams are what locks, what not. And Iowa State, I mean, they've done themselves a great job so far this season, and it'll be interesting to see if they can get this W. Obviously, they fell last time to Cincy, but we also know what this team is capable of in taking down Arizona in the regular season. I think that was one of the bigger surprises, show that this team is here to compete.
Yeah, Iowa State beat Grand Canyon earlier on in the year as well. Their only losses to Michigan State in 4, Cincinnati in 4, and I believe there's one more loss. I can't pull the name right now, but a minute 30 into Game 1, Iowa State have been a heck of a team this season, probably a top 10 team in the country if I had to kind of put a number around it. But Cincinnati as well, it's spent a lot of time in the top 15, I think they even got really close to the top 10 at one point before those back-to-back losses to Arizona and A-State came through back in week 4 or 5 of the regular season. But the first 2 minutes here have been kind of methodical for both sides.
Yeah, I mean, that was of course the tough moment for Cincinnati, dropping those back-to-back games. That was back in week 5, and then the next week after that they went to Game 5 with Utah, and it looked like Cincinnati might have. We're in a bit of trouble, having those 2 losses, going to Game 5 with a team they should probably dominate in that fashion. But you know what? They've gotten back here regardless. They have had a bit of a smoother road, I will say, through this conference tournament. Of course, Houston was a solid 4-5 matchup, as it will be. Vanish getting on the board first. They took down Houston, that 4-5 matchup. But then in the semifinals, of course, last round, they took on West Virginia.
Absolutely, that Cincinnati-Utah game just got uploaded to the CCS YouTube last night. It's youtube.com/collegiate CS. If you want to go check out any VODs from this season or any season in the past, if you want to go rewatch some history, you could go subscribe. But shameless plug aside, Curtis, halftime here in game number 1. Iowa State currently lead 1 with 2:20 to go.
Yeah, and I'm we talked a little bit before the broadcast started, and I did say that I think Iowa State is going to win it, but Cincinnati is not going to make it easy. I said it was going to be a Game 7 victory for the Cyclones, but these kinds of plays are why Cincinnati are so good. Side takes it middle, and Celt just tees it off and bar down.
think Iowa State has to get off to a good start early because, Cy comes in without a warm-up. He just got home from watching the Minecraft movie, we were told. So, he has been on no warm-up here tonight. So he's coming into this series cold.
Yeah, well, we'll see if that does indeed help Iowa State in this situation. Zell left his last aside. We'll just respawn and clear this one out. I'm interested to see what both these teams will, of course, bring to this matchup. Obviously, I mean, the Big 12 Conference Tournament has probably been, I would say, the most surprising conference tournament so far. Zell shot, Cloudy, no boost, still makes the save. Midas with a great save as well. I mean, we had West Virginia, the 8th seed, be the first 8th seed to eliminate a 1 seed in the conference tournament. And then we had Arizona get upset by Arizona State. And I mean, those are two huge, upsets in this conference tournament.
Absolutely, but again, even last season, Arizona fell in round 1 as a high seed as well to Houston. As Midas fires wide, no good. That one just off the post and away. A minute 15 to go. Iowa State a couple of great looks, but we remain tied the minute to go.
Yeah, it's been a back and forth so far. And I mean, I think that's what we're expecting, Nation. I think that's exactly what we're expecting going into the rest of this series. I think we both said this one was going to go to 7. It's hard to imagine it not being that long series.
I mean, I agree. And Cincinnati been a stellar team all season to watch, and you can call the Arizona school fluke all you want, but again, the Big 12 is competitive. It's gotten more competitive season after season, because at the start it was just Colorado and Kansas that were threats to the Big 12 tournament, but then Iowa State got this brand new roster last summer that came in and immediately dominated last fall, and now you have Cincinnati back with Zell, who has a stellar new third for the Bearcats, as he, speaking of the devil, finds the go-ahead with 16 seconds, and Colorado potentially coming back. Like, this conference is set up for success for a long time, alongside that Houston new roster as well.
Yeah, I'd be very excited to see the Big 12 develop even more than it already has. But Zell taking advantage, just a slight miss out front from Cloudy, tried to reach that cutoff with the backflip touch. Now vanished pre-jumping Mystic will win it right back down, but Zell just looking to carry this one forward, expire the rest of the time. Cy will get one touch towards the backboard. Iowa State need to go the full length, but it will just drop there. Cincinnati take game 1.
This is the 4th unique Big 12 tournament championship game. Is back in season 2, we had Texas Tech take on Kansas. Season 3 was Colorado against Kansas. Season 4 was Colorado against Iowa State. And now we have Iowa State and Cincinnati in season 5.
Yeah, no, it really has been a lot of fun. A lot of fun to see the Big 12 develop. I mean, it's one of the most long-standing conferences in CCS, and it's been really fun to see how it's gone on. And we've had 2 Big 12 conference tournament champions go on to win the Natty here in CCS. I mean, there's a lot of history behind this conference.
Yeah, before we added Akron, I mean, the Big 12 had 3 straight consecutive championships, or 2 straight.
Yeah.
So I mean,
you had Kansas in season 2, and then Colorado in season 3.
Yeah, since its inception, it had won every championship until Akron came along, and heck, that Colorado team took Akron to 6, almost really should have gone to 7. They choked it away at the end, but this conference is set up for success for a long time. It's always going to be a competitive tournament at the end of this season, and there's a lot of good teams that will always go to the tournament. This is a multi-bid conference, probably looking at 5 or 6 minimum bids a season, and they're all going to be tough outs in the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, even though Colorado, was that main representative, from the Big 12 last season and did get eliminated by the eventual champions of Akron Gold, it was still Final Four. Obviously, they still went to the last 4 teams in the entire CCS. And I mean, just showing the depth the Big 12 has had over the season. Now, obviously, we're gonna crown a new Big 12 Conference Tournament champion, and we'll see which one of these 2 teams is going to be able to represent this conference even further in Season 5.
Right, I mean, again, 2 Big 12 teams made up the Final Four back in Season 2, and Colorado played 3 seasons in the league and never missed the Final Four, so it just goes to show you what the Big 12 champion has done in recent history in the CCS tournament. So again, there's a lot on the line tonight with Iowa State, Cincinnati, but there's so many good teams in the Big 12 that can go make a run in the championships, and I fully expect the Iowa State, Cincinnati to be competing on Saturday night to punch a ticket to the Final Four.
Yeah, I think that could definitely be the case, but it's up to these two teams to see who's going to be able to do it. I would say both these teams are, a lock for the tournament, but who's going to get that higher seeding does matter. Who's going to have that bit of an easier road through the bracket? That's always a big factor.
That it is. In halftime, you're in game 2, still very close, tied at 0 for now, but it's getting physical, which could be a good sign for Cincinnati as they've kind of won the physical battle early on here, and we saw that be a big physical battle too when they played in the regular season just a couple of short weeks ago, where Cincinnati won in game 4, but there was a bunch of physicality involved with bumping and demoing, and the numbers advantage that we're taking control of for Iowa State, I think, has to be a key factor to their success tonight. But for Cincinnati, sure, you played Iowa State a couple short weeks ago, and you were very physical in that game, but Iowa State's going to be adjusted, ready to go against a dang good Cincinnati team that beat them not that long ago.
Yeah, unfortunately, this isn't the way you're going to win games. A big double commit all the way up front. Vanish and Midas both just sitting behind it, and both just got destroyed by Mystic on the 50, and that leaves it wide open. So Cincy will go up 1 here in game number 2, and we know Iowa State's a hungry team nation. They're always fighting to get back, to get into that higher spot. We know they're a confident team as well. It's sometimes that won't be reflected in the results. Obviously, we saw last season in the tournament, but this season's it's a new season.
And it is. Iowa State, they want to, wreck their demons from this fall. Remember, they were upset in the first round by a 14 seed as a 3 seed. They don't want to think about that anymore, any longer. And I think they kind of know what's at stake here this season in the spring. Is, again, they lose this game, they probably end up as a 3 seed or a 4 seed, and they're right back to that potential where, they might get upset. But again, I don't think they're going to let it happen 2 seasons in a row. There's no way.
Yeah, I would agree, but then again, we said no way about Texas winning, so it's always a possibility. Texas was a team that some people said shouldn't have even been in the tournament last season, yet they quickly proved that they deserve to be there after that win over Iowa State. It's cloudy, nice reset here off the ceiling mounts. Will turn it in. No one from Cincinnati could really reach it.
The cloudy just normal kind of play over the top. The flip reset side had no boost, but still felt like you probably should have made contact there. But 68 seconds to go. We're back to level 1-1.
Yeah, I think we saw a bit of a panic double jump out of Cy there on the goal line. He did have nothing, as you said, but he definitely could have been able to make a touch. He just kind of double jumped early and then could not reach it. But as you said, score at equilibrium, and Iowa State looking to take advantage now that they've gotten the first, but Cincinnati looking to quickly storm their way back, get the lead, and going up 2-0 after having one of their players just arrive, still a little bit cold. I mean, that would be huge for the Bearcats.
Yeah, I expected Iowa State to have a stronger start, considering that for the first game and a half, probably it'd be a 2-on-3 in terms of who's ready to rock and roll. As Cy was coming in cold for watching the Minecraft movie, so it's a lot to deal with trying to get on and have to immediately play your first game against a very physical Iowa State team that has had a lot of success and advantage just off the post. That clears way over the last defender. Kiglaudy did get back, but that looked way over that last defender there on the camera. But we play on, 11 seconds to go.
And we'll see if this one will finish up in regulation. Overtime on the horizon. Zell not looking to get that far. He's got no more boost. 50 out in front from Cy. He'll stay alive for a moment. Mystic gets a good 50. Cloudy surely to let this drop. That he will. Game 2 OT.
Overtime. Into game 2, Iowa State, although it's not really must win, it kind of feels like must win. You don't want to give Cincinnati this much momentum with Cy just getting on and coming into this series cold, and you open things up with an 0-2 deficit. It just feels like it's must win, although it's not.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's always possible to come back from being down 0-2, but it's never that position you want to be in. It's never comfortable. It's never easy. And obviously, you just rather go into this one, make it a best of 5 from there on out, try and win that instead of having to make that 2-game comeback at least.
Midas trying to get a little fancy there with a flip reset. Iowa State, though, will keep this ball in play. And earlier, in the Summit League final. I mean, St. Thomas trailed South Dakota 2-0 and came back and won. So it's not like it's impossible to, win a series starting the series down 0-2. But again, it's never a situation you want to find yourself in.
And especially when you're looking across the field from another high caliber team. Obviously, Iowa State, they go down 0-2. That's going to be tough even after they lost the regular season matchup. They're going to know what's at stake. They're going to know how much harder it's going to be as they lost that team. Normally now being down 2 games, we'll see what they can do. Obviously not there yet, as this overtime still in limbo. But Cincinnati looking for a break. Vanish, good clear down the other side. Mystic will take care of it for the Bearcats, but some more quick challenges from the Cyclone side. Sweeps it away, gets by 2. Vanish faking the initial challenge, now taking it away in the corner. Zell is there. He powers his way through one, trying to muscle his way through another. Will bump off Midas, but no one there close as third. Vanish looking for a counter. No boost, misses, and it's been a very interesting start to this OT.
Cy fires a little wide there, though. 2 minutes now into the extra period, and Iowa State still kind of pinned down defensively, Jonas. But again, we're only about another halfway through a game here. We've had a couple of very long overtimes tonight in the broadcast so far. I think we had a 6.5-minute one earlier and a 5-minute one earlier before you got here. So we've spent a couple of long OTs today.
Yeah, we might be gearing up for another, and this one is no one really has had some insanely close looks thus far. 2.5 minutes through. Zell sending this one on target, but Midas will pick up an early stop to it. Over to Cloudy it goes. Trying to control that dribble side. Good challenge. Midas just dodging that demo. You can see Cincinnati trying to slowly work their way through the defense. That's a double commit there for the Cyclones. Cincinnati might be able to jump on it. Side, good 50 down low. No one close to second. The clear is good for Iowa State.
Midas flip reset. Taking a sweet time to fire. Just gonna fall wide now. Mystic with no boost. Broken up by Vanish. Another 50 for Vanish. One against Sty, and Zell will clear the base for the Bearcat defense. And again, 3 minutes now into the extra period. Still no goals.
I mean, we have seen Cincinnati just have less chances so far in this matchup. In the OT, it looks like it's been a little bit more in their favor. But going into overtime, they only had 4 shots compared to the 13 from Iowa State. Now they might be in trouble. Advantage. That's a poor first touch. It's a 2v1. Midas is demoed. The net is open. Get side. Put it on target. Yes, he can. Cincinnati take it 3.5 minutes in.
And the Bearcats extend the lead to 2. Jonas, 3:30 into overtime. 8.5 minutes later, we have a winner, and the Bearcats up 2-0.
Yeah, and that, again, it has to go back to that offensive mistouch from Vanish. It was a 2v1. He had full control of the ball in front of the net, and he ended up just trying to get that first touch perfect, trying to pop it up out in front, ended up giving it away to Cincy, and then they took advantage on the 2v1 down on the other side of the field. Now the Bearcats up 2-0 in the 4 seed, doing some great work here in the Big 12 Conference Tournament Championship.
The 1 seed not involved in tonight's contest is Iowa State's a 2 seed, Cincinnati a 4. There's now 5 minutes to go in game 3. Iowa State, now this is really a must win.
Yeah, now they're in a bit of trouble. Obviously, coming back from 0-2 is one thing. Coming back from 0-3, that is an entirely different story. The reverse sweep in a best of 7, it's one of the hardest things to do, and they are, of course, very rare. You can see since he looked very confident as Zell tried to get that pass back down to Mystic. Wasn't quite the touch he envisioned, and Iowa State coming back the other way will be slowed down by the Bearcats. Midas up to the ceiling. He goes ceiling, pinch down. Zell got a piece of it, clears it away for a moment. Cloudy looking for a vanish. He'll head up towards the corner.
Zell in the backfield, low 50. It's just wide. Midas, a good look there, but nothing still yet to fall for Iowa State. Now back to Midas, a little high. Rebound not there in time. Zell will cover the base again for the Bearcats. Defense is Iowa State, though, still trying to craft the board, Jonas, but nothing seeming to go their way.
We're seeing a lot of offensive pressure early, very similar to last game, but We didn't see them quite take advantage of the opportunities they were given. This is one awkward shot is wide from Midas. No one has a follow-up. Vanish has got no boost. He's going to have to let Psy go up the sidewall. Flips into the reset. Vanish, awkward touch. Zell is there. You're going to have a hard time with this ceiling double. Just a soft nudge back into the corner. And Cincinnati continuing the offense. Psy looking for physicality. Mystic tries to power his way through. Zell is back towards the midfield. Didn't want to push up for a shot.
Iowa State is in a roll to hurt here, Jonas. A couple of elite chances, but just nothing can go their way. Zell open target, mark it good, 1-0.
Yeah, Cincinnati, again, even though they've felt like they've had less of the opportunities, they still are able to take advantage. Cloudy just missed that first look as he just kind of touched the post with his nose a little bit, and that left a wide open look for Zell.
And last season, Cincinnati, I believe, was the 7th seed and got past 10-seeded Rutgers in round 1 and dropped in round 2. So again, this is probably going to be their best chance at a deep run so far in their short CCS careers.
Actually, wait, these two teams played round 1 of the conference tournament last season.
I'm talking about the overall tournament, the CCS championships.
Oh, I see.
Cincinnati played Rutgers in the first round. That went to Game 7. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That was almost disgusting.
I mean, there's some obviously solid history, and both these teams have done quite a bit as Vanish. Might want that moment to disappear. There's a miss from Cloudy as well. I don't exactly know what's happening here in this third game. I mean, it's been a little bit awkward on all sides of things, but Iowa State especially have just kind of looked a little bit out of the sorts.
I agree. I mean, they just kind of been they look discombobulated. They're not playing like they're normally doing. It just feels like there's some sort of disconnectedness going on between the three of them.
I mean, despite that, they're still only down 1, maybe tie it up here. No. Shot will be saved away off the crossbar. Zell out to the midfield. Vanish. Take advantage of the space he's given. Tries to put it middle. Cloudy's there, but late. Tapped away by Cincinnati. Vanish just sitting in front of Mystic. We'll just bump him out of the way. Finds one touch on target, but swept back the other side. Iowa State, their offense has just not quite been clicking here in this one, Nation.
Not at all. 90 seconds to go on the clock here in game number 3. Cincinnati can start to feel it a little bit at least here, Jordan. There's 80 seconds left, and the Bearcats trying to extend that lead to 2. That they will.
That one drops in. We saw the Cyclones get a piece of it, but not enough to shut down that ceiling pinch from Mystic. It was placed perfectly far side, and it was Midas who got a little bit of car on it, but not enough to make the save.
1:20. Playing the clock now. The Bearcats lead by 2 as Iowa State just at no point tonight, I believe, has captured a lead. It's been all Cincinnati early from start to finish, and the Cyclones just have had no answer.
They really haven't, and you can see as time goes on and as the lead kind of stays with Cincinnati, you can see how confident the Bearcats are getting. Psy reset as 2 go by, in Iowa State, I don't exactly know what's happening to them.
This is not the best look to show in front of the committee going into the tournament, that's for sure. It's 45 seconds left to go. Iowa State, this might just be a bad night, and they're just going to look ahead to the tournament and hope they can right the wrongs.
I mean, this performance is currently, it's giving 14 seed on to round 2, Nation. I just got to say it.
I mean, I don't know if it was as bad as it was that night. I mean, it was midnight Eastern, and, there may or may not have been a drunk aviator playing Rocket League that night that just absolutely had a field day against Iowa State. But this Cincinnati team has been, ever since that Arizona. Oh my goodness, that's just perfect from Vanish.
Well, they'll get one here. 11 seconds left. Is it too little, too late? We'll see, but Midas, a great touch across. Cloudy, no contact made, and Vanish rips it 90 miles an hour.
That was a pre-jump, too. 11 seconds. The Cyclones will at least have a slim of hope off the kickoff.
We'll go over to Psy. Immediately gets it over. Vanish looking for one touch out. Mystic is left alone with no boots, and Midas flies right by. What in the world is going on? It's killed by Vanish. Iowa State, what is happening, guys?
That was a clean look, too. Iowa State had the look and Vanish completely missed that ball.
And not only a missed look, but that was a missed look that could have meant the game. And now Cincinnati are up 3-0 over the Cyclones. Can ISU even bring it back at this point?
Well, there's only ever been 3 reverses in best of 7 in CCS history. The first one is Nebraska over that storied Purdue team, and then we had the California one in the tournament last season against South Carolina. Then Akron had to do it in the tournament last season on their way to a chip, and reverse swept East Tennessee State. So it's only ever happened 3 times. Now Iowa State looking to make it happen a 4th.
Yeah, and this one again, as all those reverse sweeps start, it seems out of depth, but we'll see if this team can really turn things up. Vanish couldn't find an angle there. Mystic low boost just kind of carrying that one forward as Sai was looking to help him, couldn't quite. Now we'll boom this one up high. You got to feel like Zell is lurking. Vanish will have the clear in time. Mystic on a clean touch to the sidewall now, just looking for the center, met by Cloudy, but I'm expecting maybe another unorthodox game ahead of us.
We'll have to wait and see, but for Iowa State here, try to win a game or two, don't get killed in this series, and hope that your season doesn't fall too much after a loss like this, where everything just kind of has fallen apart. I mean, again, this is not the normal Iowa State we're used to when it comes to watching them, beat Arizona or go neck and neck with Michigan State or James Madison, and now tonight it's just been all Cincinnati. They have dominated from start to finish.
I mean, it's been interesting too, because I mean, at the beginning of this series, obviously Cincinnati were still winning these games, but it was obviously still close, and it's continued to stay close. But the last game was that first real look of this team just doesn't look as strong as we've seen in the past, and now we'll see what they obviously can do in game number 4. We do have a minute and a half gone. It's still been pretty even throughout, but it's still looked a little bit awkward at times.
Absolutely. At this point, next season's Big 12, Big 10 battle. I mean, Cincinnati, assuming they're going to win this, I mean, they'll open their season with Michigan State. That's a difficult non-conference game to think about in the future this summer.
I mean, it'll definitely be difficult for the Bearcats, but I think for us, it will hopefully be a fun one to watch as this pass goes awry. Sai in a no boost 1v1 versus Cloudy's first touch with 2 heavies. Hell is eventually chased down by Vanish. Mystic trying to find his way through. Midas will sweep it away back towards the midfield, but that should be another fun one. The non-conference slates are always so funny.
I mean, Iowa State against Maryland and Arizona could play Purdue. I mean, there's tons of good matchups you could draw with the Big 12 and Big 10, but 2.5 to go here in game 4. The Bearcats lead 3-0 in the series. They're half away of Rocket League win the CCS championships with a goal.
And it's kind of been an awkward midfield battle here in game number 4, as both teams only have 2 shots, but the third one will count for Iowa State. They're on the board.
The big one for the Cyclones. 2:16 to go, and Vanish from the corner finds the opener.
Yeah, he pre-jumped that sidewall touch from Cloudy and put it on target, and what a shot that is to turn one in. We'll see how Cincinnati respond, but this could be that start. Zell, good reset up high. Midas, awkward touch, gives it to Mystic, and the Cyclones give it right back.
That's when it's just the defense has had bad touches all night. They're just giving goals straight to Cincinnati. This is I'm at a loss of words. This is just not the normal Iowa State roster that me and you are used to seeing. It's just not. And Cincinnati is, I don't know if it's just because Cincinnati is that much better than them, or if this is just a bad performance.
No, Cincinnati obviously a great team, but in these last couple games, it's more been Iowa State beating themselves and Cincinnati really taking over. And I mean, again, this is a team who we saw take down Arizona, and I think once we both saw them take down Arizona, it was tough to see anyone stopping this Iowa State team. And now here in the conference tournament championship, they are currently being stopped.
This is an Iowa State team that went to Game 7 with defending national champion Colorado last season. And tonight, it is all. Cincinnati as Cloudy goes high. The double no good. Minute 20 to go. We're still tied. The Bearcats trying to lock this series down in 4 straight games. Iowa State has had nothing in response.
Yeah, and I mean, it's still up in the air as of right now. The reverse sweep could still get started. Iowa State can obviously still take this game as it's only tied, but you just get the feeling that another one of those defensive mistakes is going to happen, and Iowa State are just going to leave the door open for the Bearcats to kind of kick their way through. But I mean, we've still seen the Cyclones, even at this point, they've been unexpected. We obviously, that first goal that was put away was a pre-jump off a sidewall touch from a teammate, and you know, if that's how you're going to get your one, that's how you get your one, but you need to find another thing like it.
And it doesn't even feel like it's tied, though. Like, that's the thing. Like, sure, on the score sheet it's tied, but it just doesn't feel that way. It always feels like Cincinnati, they're playing with such poise and confidence that it feels like it's 5-0 for Cincinnati every second of this game. But 15 seconds to go. Excuse me, hiccups. As the Bearcats trying to lock this series down.
Yeah, they want to try and finish it right here, right now in regulation. Midas pre-jumping vanish off the back wall will make a nice swift touch in the corner. Overtime looming, and we'll get there. Another OT. This time, the series on the line.
The last one finished at 3:30. We'll see if this one goes any longer or any shorter. That one also off the bar and wide, as the Bearcats will hold off the first attack from the Cyclone offense.
Good center there. Midas eyeing a double, misses, vanish there, but he fires wide, and that's a big chance gone by the wayside for Iowa State. Now Dell trying to create pressure. Midas lobs it up. Cloudy's there. Mystic off the backboard. Vanish will have a big clear out to get some of that pressure back for the Cyclones. Now Zell rips it away. Vanished into the backboard again. Cloudy got to be lurking close. Will fake the initial challenge. Zell trying to lift it over to Cy. Will get one touch off the sidewall, but not much more. It's still been a solid battle to open up this OT.
That it has, but again, Iowa State had a big chance to open things up and then completely hooked it as Vanish is killed for his effort. That shot off the bar and down. Rebound also will not go. Cy hold the line. Defensively, in Iowa State's woes still continue.
They still got to take advantage of this opportunity. They still got looks here. Cincinnati are practically starved. Zell did pick up boost, and so did Cy. And as soon as they get boost, they work their way back out into the offensive end. Cy looking for Zell, who's pre-jumping, and I think you can tell that Cincinnati, they're starting to have their fun a little bit. Obviously, you know, still the title on the line here in the Big 12. Obviously, the series is not done yet, but you can see they're going for a lot more of those low percentage plays, the pre-jumps, the long passes, and they still seem to be just having their fun in this one.
They're having a lot of fun. They're up 3-0. Cincinnati, you know, again, if they lose this game, and you know, let's go to the next. You're fine. Like, it's 3-1. There's no big deal about that. But for Iowa State, you know, this is, you know, series is over if you get scored on.
And that's the big difference here. And obviously, no one been able to break through after 2 minutes of OT. Cincinnati, we have seen them getting closer. Iowa State have still had some good attempts, but just could not find anything. Cloudy might have a look here. Mystic up to the backboard. Cloudy got a piece of the rebound. Now Vanish trying to force his way through. One touch out from Cy to Zell. Holds that flip and uses it for the 50. Tries to do the same here, but Cloudy will have him beat to the punch. Another half of game played and still all tied up here.
This would be the shortest Big 12 tournament championship game in CCS history if this does result in a 4-0 win for the Bearcats. If Iowa State can extend it, it would at least tie the Texas Tech-Kansas series from Season 2. That resulted in a 5-game set as Zell trying to deliver the dagger. Couldn't put it away there as 3 minutes have now elapsed in the overtime period.
50 there from Vanish to again try and get that offense going. Mystic looking for Cy. Scoops it up towards the corner. Midas, low boost, I have the good. Cloudy is chasing down Zell. Forces a bit of an awkward touch to the far side. Mystic will just play the 50 in stride. Midas trying to go back over to Vanish, but Vanish goes right by and approaching that same time mark as the last OT. A good save there from Midas, and it looks like this one might just be longer. That it will be.
3.5 now laps, their longest OT in the series so far. Not the longest in the night, though. Yet aside. Shot turned away by Vanish, and then another demo, a little 2-on-1 here. Zell fires wide, and Cloudy will hold that one off, and that was almost a beauty for Zell from midfield.
And Mystic towards the backboard again. Vanish playing patiently will have the one clear. Zell got a reset, pre-flips it forward side, misflips away. It'll fall right back to Mystic, just puts a roller on net. Again, just searching for those bumps, searching for those boost steals, as that's a big miss from Midas. Cloudy pops it up. Midas will be able to get back and clear it away past the 4-minute mark now. And Cincinnati, they've still just had what feels like all the pressure, but have not been able to break through. Here's a look. Midas back again to make a save. That's his 5th save of the game. Shot on target, saved early.
4:20. A lapse in the extra period. Mystic getting bullied by Vanish. This one, Cincinnati trying to get out of trouble here. That they will. As Iowa State, though, still battling in Cincinnati territories. That shot also plays high and wide, as well as Iowa State just can't catch a break offensively.
It's a big overextension here, and they'll turn it in. It's Sai who ends it here. Cincinnati win the Big 12 title in a sweeping fashion over Iowa State.
Yeah, that might be the worst Iowa State points we've seen all season, but Cincinnati get it done. The Bearcats, 4-0, our Big 12 tournament champions.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much else to say, Nation. You said it so well. That might be one of the worst we've seen. I mean, I don't know what happened there. I mean, out of the gate,
there's a positive, though. There's a positive you can take away from it. If this was the worst Iowa State could have played in the game, at least their worst is now behind them, and it's only up going into the tournament.
That's the hope. That's the hope. That was one of the worst looks we've seen from Iowa State. And again, this is a team that I had winning this series in 7. I thought they were going to be able to take advantage, but again, I don't think this was Cincinnati playing out of their minds. I don't think this was Cincinnati completely outplaying Iowa State. This was the Cyclones beating themselves.
Absolutely. And I think that it was Cincinnati's a great team. Don't get me wrong. They still had to deliver a heck of a series tonight to win this. It's not easy beating Iowa State, but Iowa State continuously shot themselves into the ground in this series. That's just how it was. On paper, you look at this and say, look at the statistics, look at the stats. You can say Mystic this, Zell that, Sai this, but it was Iowa State just continuously putting themselves in bad situations. It had bad defensive touches all over that series and gave Cincinnati so many chances to pounce with numbers in the offensive end that led to those goals. But how do you now prepare for the tournament for Iowa State? You exercise your demons and have your worst series of your life in the Big 12 tournament final. You go into the tournament and they're hoping to avoid a round 1 upset again and make a deep run.
I mean, that's all they got to hope at this point. What they choose to do, that's on them. Whether it's grinding rank, grinding something, just trying to just shake off this tough loss, shake off the tough loss they've had in the past. We'll have to see, but ultimately, I think this is going to be a matchup that a lot of people think back to when they see Iowa State in the tournament. And if they're predicting maybe an upset in one of the earlier rounds, Iowa State might be one of those teams that's picked to go a little bit sooner. We know the potential of this team, Nation. That's the hardest part about watching this matchup. We know what Iowa State can do. We know that they can be a top 10 team in the nation here in CCS, but this was not that team.
Not at all. And we can also talk about Cincinnati. Cincinnati's another top 10 team in the country when they're playing very, very well. They will be a force to be reckoned with in the CCS championships. There's no doubt about that. And, again, I said earlier, I'm expecting Cincinnati and both Iowa State, if they can get their stuff together, to be playing on Saturday night at the final 9-10 Eastern slot in the quarterfinal to punch a ticket to the Final Four on Sunday. But again, that's a tall task because they're to go head-to-head with a number 1 team in the country, whether it's Drexel, Michigan State, Akron, or Mizzou. You're going to beat one of those 4 teams minimum to be playing on Sunday. So it's going to be a tall order, but Cincinnati, again, they've not had the experience Iowa State has had in terms of the tournament and playing top teams early, because Iowa State got to play Michigan State earlier on in the year. So if they could have won this night and been a 2-seed or and in the region of Michigan State, well, they played them earlier on in the season. They've got experience playing a top team, but Cincinnati doesn't have that experience. So we'll see how that affects them in the tournament. But again, like I said, these are two top 10 teams in the country. I think they'll both be fine going into the championships, and hopefully they both do well.
Yeah, I mean, my hopes are up for Iowa State. I'm hoping they can come back from this one, but Cincinnati, I mean, they're going to be taking this one in stride. You know, they got a 4-0 conference tournament title in the Big 12, and it seemed like this matchup was a little bit easier for them. They didn't have to struggle too much through it. Obviously, a 4-0 sweep, the quickest Big 12 conference tournament championship we've ever had in CCS. They're going to be taking this one in stride, and they're going to have a lot of momentum going into the tournament. Now, I'm excited to see what lengths the Bearcats can reach.
Me as well. And, you know, again, for me, we talk a lot about, you know, we enjoy watching the Big 12 and the Big 10. And I think that those conferences have tons of elite programs. And, you know, Penn State last season almost beat Drexel in the second round on Friday to open things up in the championship weekend. And there's a lot of good teams, and I'm fully expecting, I'm hoping that the Big 12 and Big 10 both have great showings at the championships. It makes the league look better down top to bottom.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too. I mean, I would expect as much. I still think all these teams, obviously coming out of the Big 12, are very competitive. Cincinnati, Iowa State, Houston, Arizona State. I mean, those five are.
UCF.
I still. Yeah, UCF. They're gonna make. I'm expecting all those teams to make pushes. Utah also has to be mentioned as well. I'm expecting all those teams to have themselves pretty solid runs, but I mean, Cincinnati, they're on the road to go. This is a big win for them. Obviously, they're gonna take it in stride, and I'm really excited to see what they do come tournament time.
I think I have 6 teams out of the Big 12 in the tournament. I mean, again, Arizona State, Cincinnati, Iowa State, and Utah and UCF, and Houston. So 7. I have West Virginia out. I have them, I think, 5th or 6th in the list of being out. There's an NIT. I think they'd be a 2 seed in that, but you know they had a heck of a season. You know, shout out Mountaineers. So, again, just a year ago when we implemented the Big 12 into the CCS, West Virginia was 0-7, 0-21 in games, and now they finished this season 6-6. They're at 500. They made the Big 12 tournament. Upset number 1 UCF. You can call UCF a fraud 1 seed all you want. They were still number 1, 8-0 undefeated. They beat Houston. That was their best win of the season by far for the Knights. Still history for the Mountaineers. A season to be proud of. There's something to build off of going into the summer.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. I wouldn't expect to see the Mountaineers most likely in this tournament, even with that big upset victory over UCF. But regardless, they had themselves. This was a big improvement season. What it was for West Virginia. I'm hoping to see them keep on moving up, keep on moving forward. But then again, ultimately, they did get eliminated by Cincy, and obviously, you know, Cincy were the eventual winners, so that looks a little bit better for them. They were eliminated in the semifinals by the eventual Big 12 champions, so have that as well. But yeah, this conference is always fun to watch, and it's gonna continue to be.
Just got word that after the start of Morris series, I think it's going to be the last game of the night, is San Diego State and Washington State. I think has been postponed to tomorrow, it looks like, or potentially it's tonight at 11 PST. So that would be 2 a.m. Eastern. We'll have to wait. I'll give updates on that as we get them. But that's a late. It could be a 2 a.m. Eastern kick tonight. I'll let you guys know. We're gonna go to break when I come back. I'll be joined by Sleeper for Robert Morris and Milwaukee after the break. So long in the Big 12 tournament.